Hello everyone, my name is Crystal and I'll be talking about HIV. What is HIV/AIDS? Well, HIV targets the immune system. Over time, the immune system begins to fail, which is called immunodeficiency, that causes the increased the risk of infections and tumors that usually a healthy immune system would help defend off. The complications can be referred to as AIDS, which stands for acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Once infected, it is not curable, but it is treatable. According to Jacqueline L. Lange, in an article called HIV Infection/AIDS says, human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, is an infection-causing virus that compromises a person's immune system and leads to acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS. AIDS is the end stage of HIV infection and causes the body's immune system to shut down, allowing cancers and other infections to attack and diminish healthy immune cells. There are two types of HIV, HIV type 1 and HIV type 2. As for HIV type 1, it is more common and affiliated with AIDS in the US and worldwide. It is also more virulent and relatively easy to be transmitted. As for HIV type 2, it is so uncommon that usually when people refer to HIV, they are referring to HIV 1. HIV 2 is more rare and typically in restricted areas in Western Africa and Southern Asia, and it is also less transmittable. A little bit about the HIV process is that HIV targets CD4 plus cells, and that means that cells that have the specific molecule called CD4 on their membrane. Macrophages and T helper cells and dendritic cells are all involved in the immune response and all have CD4 molecules and therefore can be targeted by HIV. The CD4 molecule helps these cells and attach to and communicate with other immune cells, which is important when the cells are launching the attacks against foreign pathogens. That molecule is important for our immune system, but it's also important for HIV. One of the ways that HIV is spread is through sexual intercourse, which is spread from person to person. When it is in an early stage, it's called acute infection. The R5 strain of the HIV, which bind to the CCR5 co-receptor, will get into macrophages, dendritic cells, and T cells and begin to have flu-like symptoms, and the control replication starts to take place, and the acute stage lasts about 12 weeks. To your right, there is a picture here of the symptoms that they would receive in acute HIV infection. And the next steps would be that the patient enters the chronic or the clinically latent phase, which can last up to 2 to 10 years. When the body T cells drop low enough to 200 to 500 cells per cubic millimeter, there are symptoms like swollen lymph nodes and have viral infections, like have white patches on the tongue or have oral yeast infections in the mouth. And as the T cell continues to drop, the immune system is severely compromised, which have progressed from HIV disease and to AIDS, which the symptoms for that is weight loss, fever, fatigue, and diarrhea. And all the HIV in the blood will increase significantly. This is a picture diagram of the people that are infected worldwide. So for testing, you can find out through blood testing. Some can know if they have more than 2 or more opportunistic infections in a short time frame. A person without HIV or AIDS normal T cells count between 500 to 1,600 cells per cubic millimeter. A person living with HIV can fall below 200 cells per cubic millimeter. I have 2 quotes here that state in HIV infection, Caffrey stated 2 major variants of the HIV virus, HIV virus 1 and HIV virus 2, cause AIDS in humans. HIV is transmitted from person to person whenever a body fluid containing virus, semen, saliva, blood, or breast milk comes into contact with a mucous membrane or the blood of another person. HIV can be contacted through sexual intercourse, anal sex, oral sex, childbirth, breastfeeding, blood transfusion, tattoos or body piercings, or through shared hypodermic needles. The other quote I have here would be Peñay stated in an article that widespread availability of antiviral therapy has led to improvements in life expectancy and thus an increase in number of people living with HIV/AIDS worldwide. And these are my references. Thank you so much.